The first reason why you're struggling to get married in your 30s, 40s, and beyond is because you don't want to get married. Let's keep it a buck. A lot of times you only want to get married because somebody told you you were going to die alone. A lot of times the only reason why you want to get married is because you want somebody to go on vacation with. You want somebody to talk to, hang out with. Uh, you want somebody to be there to pick you up from the airport, but you don't actually want to be married. You don't actually want to combine your finances. You don't actually want to have to ask somebody their opinion on everything you're trying to do. Some of the partnership aspects of being married, let's keep it real. A lot of times, these are not things you want. You really want your family members to stop asking you when you're going to get married. Some of you might want to have children, and you don't want to say, I have children, but I have no husband. But you don't actually want the partnership and lifetime commitment of getting married. This is why whenever things come up in a relationship that are just kind of like, not that beneficial, or moments where you feel like you got to go through certain things, a lot of times you don't want to do it because you're like, I don't really want to be married that bad. It's not really that big of a deal. It's like when you're hungry, like really hungry, or when you just want to eat something. You feel what I'm saying? Like when you're really hungry, you eat anything. It's like my mom used to say back when I was a kid, eat this. I made this to eat. And I'm like, I don't want that. Well, you ain't hungry then. It's that kind of thing. Most of the time you don't really necessarily want to get married, but you kind of like, okay, I would get married. It's something I feel I should do because I'm at this age. So that's why a lot of times it becomes difficult, because even when you do find somebody and they're a suitable partner, it's like, I don't even want to go through none of the stuff unless it's a perfect situation. The number two reason why it's tough when you're in your 30s and 40s to get married and beyond is because there's slimmer pickings. I know that was some of y'all's first one, like, oh, ain't nobody out there. Well, okay, you damn right. A lot of the best people have already been taken. And some of the best people who have been taken already, or even the ones that are single, they were taken before, and now they don't want to be taken again. So this can be a very difficult situation when you want to get married, you want to be in a relationship, but unfortunately, a lot of the people that you really would have wanted to be with already got a ring on their finger. This is why you see so much cheating as people start getting older. The cheating actually starts ratcheting back up again like it did back in high school. It's because a lot of the quality people are gone, especially when you start talking about some of the dudes. A lot of quality dudes are gone already, and now you just got the dudes out here who, a lot of girls like, you know what, I didn't want you in high school, I didn't want you in college, I didn't want you in my 20s. I'm kind of willing to mess with you now, but you still acting a little bit like, and now you kind of feel like you're doing me a favor because I'm older, and I still really don't want you. So it kind of becomes a situation where a lot of women are like, I'd rather share somebody else's husband than be married to this dude or be by myself. Hey, don't shoot the messenger. I know it's gonna be some dudes in the comment section who are gonna be mad at me, but I'm just keeping it real. A lot of times guys like, I don't got no kids and never been married and all this kind of stuff, like it's a flex. But once you get to a certain age, a lot of times like, yeah, that's because nobody wanted you to shoot the club up. That's because nobody pretended like they was on birth control so you'll get them pregnant. I'm just saying, sometimes it's because you were just a responsible individual, but a lot of times it's because nobody really wanted to get pregnant by you. Look, don't get mad at me. I'm just saying. So a lot of times that's what it is. It's slimmer pickings, the people that nobody else wanted, and you're like, I don't want them either. Reason number three why it's a lot harder for women to get married as they get older, 30s, 40s, and beyond, is because peer judgment becomes a lot worse. Yeah, it was kind of tough when you were in high school, when you were in college, when you were, just entering the workforce. But a lot of times you didn't have a lot of old friends. Also, you didn't have a lot of old friends who already been through a lot of relationships, already have a lot of baggage and pain. Some of them are married and in relationships currently. Now they telling you that everything you do is wrong. Oh, he too young, girl. Oh, he's too old, girl. Oh, he got too much money. Oh, he got too little money. Oh, he got kids. Oh, he ain't got no kids. You know, it's one of the things where everybody's got something to say about your relationship and about what you should and shouldn't do. So it becomes a lot more difficult because you get a dude and you start being afraid to bring him around your friends. You get somebody, you start feeling like the judgment is coming one way or the other for whatever reason. And sometimes that seeps into what you think about the person. So now, where you found somebody that was suitable, you start shooting holes in the relationship because your friends are. So that peer judgment that you start getting at older ages, sometimes it becomes worse and worse. Even though you would think your friends would be happy that you found somebody. Some of them hating, you know what I mean, to be honest with you, and they don't want to see you find anybody. So they become even more judgmental of everybody you talk to. So that's something that you kind of have to watch out for as you get older because it can handicap you. Reason number 4 why it can be really difficult to get married once you're 30s, 40s, and beyond is because you're either in survival mode or protection mode. Survival mode is when you're down on your luck, things haven't really worked out for you. You may have some kids you're trying to take care of from some past relationships that didn't work out. You may be in a situation where you're recovering as far as job issues, sickness, things of that nature, taking care of parents, all this type of stuff that puts you in survival mode. So now the first thing that happens when you try to date somebody is you're looking for somebody to be a sponsor. You're looking for somebody to take care of you financially. And a lot of times that's a turnoff to somebody, especially when you're in your 30s and 40s, because they're like, damn, you're 40 years old. You ain't got it together yet. You need me to come in and take care of you. You need me to come in and help you pay for daycare. You need me to come in here and help you pay your bills. But you're 40? Like, what have you been doing with your life? So unfortunately, some people are coming out of relationships where maybe they were staying at home. Some people are coming out of relationships where they were underemployed because maybe they didn't need to be employed at the high level. But now you do. So unfortunately, in those type of situations, that survival mode can make it really difficult. Some people, on the converse, are in protection mode. You made it. Everything went exactly according to plan. You rubbing your hands together. You swimming in the money like Scrooge McDuck, backstroking in coins and whatnot, diving in them, somehow making it to the bottom without getting hurt. I don't know how he did it. But that's how you live in your life. You over here throwing it in the bag. And you don't want somebody else coming in here threatening the bag. Then you won't have nothing to throw it in. You feel what I'm saying? So a lot of times when you're at that petition and you're in that situation, you are in protection mode. You need to protect what you have, and you over here hovering over top of it. You know how somebody who ain't ate in a long time, or maybe they just got out of prison or something like that, they be eating like this. That's you now. You like one of them dogs that came out the kennel and just got all kind of anxiety. That's how you live in your life. So when people talk to you and stuff like that, it comes off weird. It comes off like kind of a little hard to interact with you sometimes. So that could be difficult for you to actually try to make a real relationship with somebody when you don't trust anybody, don't want anybody having access to anything that's yours, and you feel like people might try to take from you or be using you. You're kind of like a rich dude. They get rich as hell, and then they're like, oh man, I don't want to mess with none of these women because they gold diggers. Now you really don't want to get married because that protection mode that you're in is making you think, wait a minute, I need to get a prenup. I can't really benefit off of this situation. Why would I want to get that piece of paper? You more likely to want to date in that situation because the way your money is money, and any marriage that you get into, it's still a risk. Even if the person got more than you, you don't know what's going to happen to them throughout the course of the marriage. They could drop a little bit, and now you paying them alimony. Now you paying them child support. Now they taking half your house. It could be anything. So, a lot of times when you're in that protection mode, it can be even more difficult than survival mode. Reason number 5 why it can be very difficult for somebody who's in their 30s, 40s, and beyond to get married. You've seen it all. Been there, done that. Been to the rodeo. been to the circus, been to Rio, been to the Caymans, been to Brazil, Jamaica, all around the world, and you've been player hated. You've been everywhere. You done had it all. You done it all. You done seen it all, and you don't really want to see no more. Or when you see something that you don't like, you quick to bail out. You're like, you know what? You remind me of that dude I dated about 10 years ago, and nah, I'm good. A lot of times you don't make it to the altar because you just see things that you don't like, and you don't want to deal with that. You're like, you know what? I waited this long. I'm not going to marry this person who is somebody I've dumped 5 times already. You get what I'm saying? It ain't the same person, but it's the same person. The same kind of attributes that you might see over and over again. A lot of times when you get married at 20, this is the first time you ever seen this person. They may be just as bad. They may be terrible for your life. They may ruin it, but you haven't seen it before, so you make it to the altar. Most people get married, they stay married for about 5 years, then they get a divorce. But when you're a little older, you figure out the things that they would have figured out in a 5-year period in about 2 or 3 months. So a lot of times that means you don't make it to getting married because everything that took a young person 5 years to figure out and get out of that relationship, you did it in 3, 4, 5 months. So if getting married is something that you want to do and it's something you really got your mind set on, the best way to go about doing that is to create a list of things that you want to get married for, reasons why you want to get married. Then you have to create a list of things that have stopped you from getting married in the past. What made me not want to get married in the past? And from there, you have to say, what are real deal breakers and what are some of the things that I could have been a little bit slacked on and maybe I would have been able to get married and I probably could have had a healthy marriage. If you want to get married in real life, you want to actually, first of all, you got to figure that out. Like, why do I really want to get married? Once you get there and you figure out that you actually want to get married, figure out why you want to get married. What are the things that you will gain from getting married? What makes it worth your while? Then you figure out why you didn't get married. Once you figure out why you didn't get married, you put those two things together. You say, is it worth it for me? And can I work through some of these things that are not really deal breakers, but are just things that I kind of just didn't want to put up with? Can I work through those things? Because if you're looking for the absolute perfect person so you can get married, especially in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, you're not going to find them. Not because you have to downgrade whatever you want or your standards, but the thing is that now you're in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, you're going to recognize that nobody is perfect. You're going to see through all the problems and issues that you would have missed when you were younger. You're going to. So the person's going to seem even less than they would have seemed like they were when you were a little younger. So you got to be understanding about that and say, hey, what can I deal with? How can I work? Because you got to remember, somebody's going to have to deal with your crap just like you're going to have to deal with theirs.